gotta ride or die.
So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you join me from the driver's seat. We're in a 2007 Lexus IS250, a relatively budget-friendly car from probably one of the best makes. I'm a Lexus fan, if you guys didn't know that. I've had many a Lexus in the past. So taking this thing out today is going to be enjoyable for me because I know how much value for money is in this car. It is such a good price tag. It is such a good car, comfort levels and spec-wise. But what we're going to do as ever is get on the B roads, go and enjoy this thing, see what it's like. But make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, but onwards to the B roads. Now, a 2007 IS250 has the 2.5 litre V6 up front. This one is actually mated to a manual 6-speed gearbox, which I believe is the one to buy. I like the idea of the diesel. I have driven one, not for the channel, but I've driven one off camera many moons ago. But this one's got a little bit more of a fruity tone and a little bit more power to it. Just over 200 brake horsepower in this V6 variant of the IS. I love this generation though. It looks really cool. The body style was such a nice body style. Again, harping back, I had a GS of the same era, so I'm very understanding of these cars and I know where the value for money is in this car more than anything. Although a little bit higher to tax, don't get me wrong, the actual running of this car isn't too bad. But what we'll actually do is go old school. We'll have a look around this car because there's some styling cues I really like, and this silver shows it really well. We're interrupting today's video to give a massive thank you to today's sponsor, YesAuto. YesAuto is the one-stop shop for buying any car, with an experience that's always easy and enjoyable. Navigating onto the website, you can select each brand that you want to look at, each model, and even down to colour variant. You can also select through the images, as well as looking at brand new cars in 360 degrees inside and out. I myself spend a lot of time just looking at cars for sale, so it's awesome to jump on the YesAuto website to have a look at cars for sale. You can even do a smart search on new and used cars with an option to select cash price or monthly costs. Their aim is to make car buying easy and enjoyable. YesAuto are the one-stop shop offering a simple, impartial way to configure and compare new and used cars from almost any manufacturer, with a whole load of clever tools and media content for total reassurance. Once again, a huge thank you to YesAuto for sponsoring today's video. There is a link in the description to the YesAuto website. Thank you so much again to YesAuto for sponsoring today's video, but let's get back to the action. So we're going to go a little bit old school in this. Look at this beautiful weather behind us, but we have the IS250 in front of us. But let's have a quick look around this thing. Again, if you like me going around a car and showing you the little bits and bobs that I really like, please let me know in the comments below. But the IS250 from this generation, I think the body style was really cool. The silver actually wears it really nicely with this. As you come up the front, the ISF that I've previously shot had sort of this, but a little bit wider, but you sort of still see how much width is actually in this generation IS. This actually has Amazon grills that were bought from Amazon, relatively cheap, about 80 quid to actually change that top grille. It changes from the slatted grille to this sort of newer style grille. Do prefer that a lot more. We've got a lot of traffic unfortunately today in this little pull-in bit. It does have some aftermarket 18-inch wheels wearing the similar sort of specs from the factory car. Coming around the back, as you can see from the silver, you can actually see a bit more bulged lines just here, which again you wouldn't necessarily notice if this car wasn't a lighter colour. It has the twin exit exhaust system, letting that V6 rumble. Again, a very expensive option to actually put on this thing. Let's go inside though, because there's a few things I need to show you guys. One of them being the instrument cluster. We'll jump in. As you can actually see, it's got the memory settings down here for the seat controls. It actually has that on the passenger side as well, which is really cool. Mirror switch here to actually bring the mirrors in. It has an automatic dimming rear mirror, so at night it automatically dims, so you can actually see who's behind you instead of not being able to see who's behind you and seeing blurry lights behind you. But what we'll do is we'll start it up. It actually has the same engine stop-start button as my GS, so very, very cool. All keyless as well, keyless entry and keyless start in this thing. I will point out that this is probably the sickest steering wheel I've ever seen in a Lexus. A flat bottom custom steering wheel in this with stitching going around blue line there, and it actually follows down into the blue line gear gaiter and handbrake gaiter, so very, very cool. But as you saw then, if we turn the car back off, everything is tinted, so this is a very Lexus-esque thing, and as you start everything up, it actually lights up. Again, such a cool starting procedure from something that, yes, this isn't a sports car, it's more of a luxury car, but a very, very cool thing that you wouldn't necessarily know that is in these ISs. We'll just jump back out as the car is started. Actually show you guys the seats as well. Very, very comfortable with full electric adjustability, and again you do have the cooling and heating seat options just here. Cooling seats are key on days like today. You also have the sunshade button down here and your various heater and washer controls for lights and windows, and again a really, really good sound system. Although it hasn't got the bigger screen in the center and it isn't the Mark Leveson upgraded sound system, it does sound very, very nice. Very impressed with the sound of this thing. I will put some sound clips over the top now. But yeah, it sounds really good from that rear end. Again, this is still got all its cats and everything in it, so it could go a lot louder if you wanted to, but I think it wears the V6 with the body shape, with that sound, very, very well. But a really, really cool car this. Again, super budget car, and look at the state of that port. Oh, one day, eh, lads, one day, lovely. But yeah, really cool car for the money, and definitely think, if you're on a budget, luxury car, family car, this, you should definitely look into getting one of these. Shares a lot of traits with the GS that I used to have, but this has a manual gearbox. Traits include most of the switches and buttons that are in this thing. It's actually got keyless entry, keyless start. So a 2007 car, you know, these are what, 3-4 grand these days, maybe even cheaper with a bit of mileage on it. They share a lot of the same sort of switch gear and stuff with the similar GS that I had from this generation. So you do have the same buttons for the climate controls and, you know, the Lexus sound system just down here. This actually has the Bose upgraded sound system, so it's really good. It actually has a sub in the rear parcel shelf. I remember my GS had the upgraded sound system as well, and it had the sub just in the back. And as you guys can see, if we push a button down here, this has the same option as my GS then. It has got a rear blind. For a car with, like, you know, 100,000 miles on it, for say 3 grand, you're buying one of these with a V6 manual gearbox. It has the most luxurious options with it, and this isn't even a highly optioned car. It hasn't got the sunroof, it hasn't got the sat-nav bigger screen in front of us. Oh, listen to that V6, sounds so good. This one's actually got a K&N air filter up front and it's sort of a mid-rear exhaust system. They don't do really catless deletes because there's cats here, and I believe there's cats at the front as well. There's cats all over the place. It's Lexus. They over-engineer literally the smallest things in these cars, but it does have an exhaust system, so outside it does sound a lot better than the standard car. It does open up that V6 engine to a little bit more excitement. Now, the ownership idea of you owning one of these, let's get really onto that, because I could go on all day about how nice these cars are to drive and the equipment levels. I mean, they've got electric seats, you've got buttons on the steering wheel, you've got such funky dials. I mean, Lexus are really cool with their dials that are in front of the driver. You've even got memory seats both sides, folding mirrors. It literally has everything here. But as well, I will say, actually, heating and cooling seats. Shout out to heating and cooling seats. We'll put the cooling seat on that. It's actually so boiling today, so that is going to work absolutely lovely. But the reality of you owning one of these, so 3 grand, say you get into one of these for, you know, you can get one a lot cheaper if you so wish to. but 3 grand will get you a low mileage, really nice spec one, maybe with the sunroof or, you know, the sat nav, whatever you really want, you can pretty much get. There is enough of them on the market. The thing to talk about though, the first thing I'm going to pull up is how much they are to modify and the tax bracket. The tax is quite high on these, about £500 to actually tax this if you were to monthly pay for it, or if you wanted to pay it out in full. I think it's around what, 520, 530, something like that. It's of the highest tax bracket because this was the funny generation, just like the R32 Golfs, where they were really expensive to tax, unfortunately. Now, the other thing to talk about, if you are actually physically wanting to go and get one of these, is how much they are to modify. So, talking to the owner, the exhaust system was from America. You can't get many aftermarket exhaust systems. You probably would just go and get a completely custom system. That's probably the way I would go, because they are thousands. This one was around £1,000 before duties, before postage and all that sort of other good stuff to actually get hold of. To change the air filter housing and everything, it's about 400 or 500 quid for a full induction kit for one of these. It's horrendously expensive. Body kits, again, thousands. I remember my GS, I wanted a little low line kit for it. It was £3,000 for the little body kit. It wasn't even a massive body kit, it was just a small body kit. So to actually modify these cars is very expensive, and that sometimes is a slight drawback for this generation IS. But positives, so let's talk about the positive. They are cheap to insure. 29 insurance group for this one. Petrol wise, it's about 80 quid to fill it up, but they do have big fuel tanks, these things, which is again a very good thing. This one's actually averaging 32 mpg at the moment. Yes, you'll see probably 20s or low 20s if you are jamming your foot down and really enjoying this thing. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you all on the next one.